Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have on the Goldstein on Gelt show Kim Ades, who designed the Frame of Mind coaching program in order to help her clients develop the skill of deliberate thought. Kim, what is the Frame of Mind coaching?
Frame of Mind coaching is specifically focused on helping people look at how their thinking impacts their results. So what we do is we examine their thinking patterns, their thoughts, their beliefs, their perspectives, their values, and we look at that all together to help us understand why people currently get the results they get.
Isn't this a little bit obvious? Wouldn't you normally say that the way someone thinks would lead to the way he acts, or is something not obvious there?
Well, you would think it's obvious, but when we look at most coaching programs out there, what we look at is how people behave, and we try to help them change their behavior. And there are very few, if any, that I know of coaching programs that focus exclusively on thought management rather than strictly behavior.
So what does thought management really mean?
Thought management is the understanding that your thoughts, or the way you think, really determines what you can achieve. And so if you want to achieve or experience different things in your world, rather than just trying to help someone shift what they do, before that, we have to help them shift how they see the world, or how they think, or what they believe. And so thought management is exactly that, the ability to shift your thinking to align with the goals and experiences that you want to achieve.
Okay, so let's apply this to something in my day job. In real life, I'm a financial advisor. I generally sit with people and help them with their financial plans and their investments. I do the radio gig once a week where I get to speak to neat people like you. But, for example, I just spoke with a couple, and after doing a financial plan, I pointed out to them that they were spending way too much, way too much, and were really wiping out their retirement savings to the point where by the time they actually retired, they'd have nothing left. And I showed them charts and graphs, and I had them meet with a budget counselor. But even after all of that, there just doesn't seem to be settling in with them, and they're still overspending. How could someone like that benefit, or how would you advise someone to change his way of thinking who's really suffering from this overspending?
Well, if we look at this concept of overspending, we want to really examine, why does somebody overspend? And typically they overspend because they have a set of beliefs about what they need, or what they must have, or how to live, and how their spending reflects those beliefs. And so it's not enough to say you have to spend less and let me show you the evidence or the proof. It's kind of like telling a smoker, you'll die if you smoke. They don't care. There's something deeper that the smoking serves, just like there's something deeper that the spending serves. And we need to get to that thing and see what beliefs surround spending. So I need to spend money because then I can keep up with the neighbors, or I need to spend money because if I don't, then I'll feel horrible, terrible, and awful. I need to spend money because there's a basic level of living. Otherwise, I feel ashamed of myself. Whatever that case may be, that's the route that we have to get to. It's not enough for us simply to tell them you have to spend less and here's the outcome if you don't. That's a threat, right?
So,
and we
so
know
how do people
that
see
doesn't
that?
necessarily work.
So let's dive into that a little bit more. In other words,
Yeah.
the problem is, first of all, I hear what you're saying, and it sounds very wise to me. But generally, when you ask someone, why are you spending so much? They'll say, well, I don't waste money. I'm only buying the stuff that I really need, and I got to pay the mortgage, and I got to heat the house and feed the kids.
Yep.
So, I find we don't get to that level so much. How do you extend the conversation?
So when we coach people, we have a call once a week. Every call is an hour. We record every call, and we insist that our clients listen to the calls again, because then they hear what they're not hearing when they're on the calls. They hear themselves, how they show up. They hear what the coach is saying. They hear some of the principles we're imparting, and so they get double the amount of coaching. But over and above that, we ask our clients to journal every single day for the duration of the coaching period. Why do we do that? Because when I give you a question, and maybe the question is, why are you spending so much money? And you might give me the first level answer. Well, I have these expenses, etc. But then when we keep going, we drill down to the real core issue. And when we get to the real core issue, we line that up against someone's values and priorities. And when we see a mismatch, we help someone align with what it is that they really, truly want. And then the shift becomes very easy. And really the process is this. We help them see what they don't see. And the minute you see what you haven't seen before, you never stop seeing it. It's always in front of you.
Right. That is very, very helpful. We're talking with Kim Ades, who is a coach, and in fact, she designed a concept of coaching, which she refers to as the frame of mind. And one of the things, Kim, you've been talking about is this concept of a journal. And I know you talk about a journal engine. Let's go more into depth, and maybe you can give us a takeaway that people listening to today's show who might actually have the problem we discussed, and I'm not saying it hypothetically, because I know a lot of people write into my show talking about the problem of budgeting. What would be a really practical step for them to take in order to improve their situation?
So this whole concept of journaling is extremely powerful, and that's why we ask our clients to do it. But if I were to give your listeners a takeaway, it would be this. So let's say it is an overspending issue, and you might want to sit down with a pen and a piece of paper and say, why do I overspend? And just write down the reasons. And then you want to say, is that true? Are those really the reasons? What's the real truth? And you want to keep doing that layer after layer after layer until you get to the root cause. And then you want to say, okay, so is this how I want my life to be driven? Is this what I truly want for myself? So you're challenging your thinking. You're challenging your beliefs through the written word. It's an extraordinarily powerful exercise. And usually you do that with a coach, and a coach knows how to take you there and go down really fast and drill down to the core of really what's driving you. But if you're on your own, certainly you can do it yourself. And really the important question you want to ask yourself is that true?
So let's say that you're having trouble and you find yourself constantly in overdraft in the bank or in huge credit card debt. And you're listening to the Goldstein on Gelt show with Kim Ades, and you say, I think she's right on. I want to start journaling. So you take a piece of paper. What's the first thing you're going to write on the page?
I have all these expenses. So it might be the list of expenses, and there's nothing I can do about it. And so the question might be, is that true? Or there are no expenses that I can eliminate. Then the question would be, is that true?
Uh-huh.
Is that true?
I got it.
So this is there's nothing I can get rid of in my life. Is that true? There's no way to lower these expenses. Is that true? There's nothing I can live without. Is that true?
I love that question. Okay, I'm going to start driving my clients crazy tomorrow when they tell me things. I'm going to say, is that true? But the funny thing is, I know it's not true, but they don't know it's not true. And for example, I'll have clients tell me, I got to keep helping my kids. It's funny. A story just came up the other week. Client came in. She said, yeah, my kids really need my help. I said, oh, are they like 4? She said, no, they're like 25 and 30. I said, do they really need your help? And I should have asked it using your language, Kim. Is it true? Because I don't think it was really true.
Well, let me take that particular example one step further. So I love the parenting problem, because parents do feel like they need to jump in and help their kids. But if you ask them, what is it that you truly want for your kids? Well, I want them to be self-sufficient. I want them to be well-balanced and healthy and independent. Okay, so does your helping them achieve that goal? And usually there's a bit of a disconnect. And so the whole idea about frame of mind coaching is to align people's thinking with the outcomes they want. And so when you keep helping your kids, do they get to be independent and well-balanced and make great decisions? Probably not.
No, you're just enabling them to continue to be dependent
right.
on you.
And so when you consistently remind people about what they truly want, what is it that you really want, and help them really formulate that, then it's easier for them to line up their thinking and then therefore their actions with what it is that they truly want.
One of the problems.
So she wants to help, right? She wants to help her kids. Maybe there are ways that she could help her kids that don't necessarily involve giving them money.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we should ask her the question when she says, well, I have to give them money, to ask, is that really true? And maybe there are other tools. So one of the problems, I think, with what you're saying, at least in my own experience, has been getting people to change. It can take years. Thinking patterns are often acquired and habits are acquired over years. how quickly can you really change them?
So for some people, it takes years to change. But not necessarily. And again, it's really once you see what you don't see, once you're able to kind of turn on the light and see how you're operating, it's hard to go back. It's really hard to go back. And so can people change quickly? Absolutely. That's why we always begin with a 10-week coaching period. And I have to tell you, it's an intense 10 weeks because they're journaling every day with their coach. But that's a relatively short period of time to see massive change. I would even call it transformation. Now, again, it's a daily exercise, but in 10 weeks, we see really significant changes that take place in people because they're exercising a new way of looking at life, a new way of thinking. They're really exercising their mind muscle.
Mm-hmm. And is this something, the journaling, that they then have to keep on going forever, or do they achieve a goal and then they're able to kind of get back to normal life?
Well, it's kind of like if you want to be fit and you tell your clients to go to the gym because they really want to have great abs, and they go to the gym and then they have great abs. Probably they want to keep their great abs. So they might want to keep going to the gym. And so it's the same concept. When you're working your mind muscle, it's a lifelong endeavor. The greatest tool you have is your thinking. It's the most powerful tool you have, and it has the greatest influence over your life's experiences, both positive and negative. So it's something you always want to keep polished and sharp and clean. And so is it a lifelong thing? Absolutely. And what happens is when you work with a coach, you're expediting. You're getting there a little bit faster. You're working a little harder. But the idea is to provide you with tools to then keep going on your own.
Wow. That is a lot to take on. And I will ask you, Kim, is that true?
It's true. It's so true.
So tell us the truth now in the last few seconds, because we are now out of time. How can people learn more about you and the work you're doing and your book?
So it's frameofmindcoaching.com. There's a book on there called What You Focus On Grows, and it's a book I wrote, and it really helps the reader to exercise their mind by looking at common situations through a really new lens. But I invite all listeners to try it out with a coach. So right there on the site, there is the opportunity to fill out an assessment with journaling questions. And those journaling questions go to a coach, and the coach will read the questions and set up a call with you and go over it with you like a real coaching call. It's a really fun, interesting experience, and I encourage everybody to try it. In that one call, you'll notice a shift.
Wow. Okay, so Kim, we will put a link to that at the show notes of today's Goldstein on Gelt show. Kim Ades, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. It's been awesome.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt show.